what do you think it is about your relationship with Tom Cruise that has led to such a positive collaboration? We're talking Vanilla Sky. We're talking Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is the director's friend. He is not one of these guys that takes over the movie and says, it's going to happen like this.
Right.
Because I know...
That's interesting, because I feel like some people might think...
All my friends before I had met Tom Cruise briefly because he had passed through the Fast Times experience. He knew some of those actors. So
yeah.
He came through, total charisma in the day before we all knew that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he says, I know every aspect of filmmaking, but I cannot direct myself. So if you're directing me, you got the wheel, man, and I trust you. So make your movie. And that's why every director that's worked with Tom is ready to do it again.
That's amazing.
He does not. He honors you, the director, as the leader of the experience.
Do you feel you have a better understanding of Scientology after working with him? No, for real. I don't know.
We never talked about it.
You didn't.
I've worked with some actors that I know were Scientologists, and they're completely prepared. They do not try and indoctrinate anybody that I've ever seen. And I just find them fun. I mean, they're maybe that's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
But what it is there's a positivity I've found in them, and maybe that's just because they feel centered.
Right. Well, that's his whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think of, it's funny, you're here in New York doing the Almost Famous, and, the most famous scene in Vanilla Sky, of course, is when you shut down Times Square.
Yeah.
And, being in New York during COVID, I was taking long bike. I would smoke some pot and get on my bike during the day and ride around, and it was like Vanilla Sky in New York City. I mean, it was
fun.
So wild. It was
unfortunately
fun.
The context is
the context
weird.
Was horrible.
Yeah,
but that must have been an incredible time for you shooting in the middle of Times Square with Tom Cruise. It was all shut down.
It was. He went to the mayor's office with Don Lee, the producer, and kind of stuck up for me as a director, because I guess somebody had gotten intel that I did a lot of takes, which, really? I don't know where it came from. I mean, I don't do that many takes, maybe a few. But they basically said, okay, we'll give you Times Square early on this Sunday morning, but you better be rehearsed because this guy is a cowboy with his takes. And they come back to me and tell me that. And I said, I'm not that person. So we rehearsed. And this is Tom.
Yeah.
Every day after a long day, he's like, let's get the crane out, man. Let's practice for the Times Square
shot. And where
shot.
Did you practice? Just like a studio, wherever you were?
Dumbo or wherever we were.
Yeah.
And then the day came.
And what time was
prepared.
It shut down? From when to when?
Well, it was timed so that when
the sun, you had the
yes.
light.
So as soon as it was all locked down, and the only thing that was CGI was a couple of the barricades way down, like 6 or 7 blocks. So we get there, it's still dark. The sun starts to come up. We had the crane up. We did it. He did the scene, just like take 7, and we were done. And we still had an hour left.
Wow.
So we took some pictures of, the James Dean shot where he's in Times Square, huddled up. We duplicated that with Tom, and then Tom said the most classic Tom Cruise thing of all: "I'll just run for you." And he ran back and forth on empty Times Square, and we're going, "Yeah, we're going to use that for sure." And then we're like, "We got it." And Andy, I think a minute and a half was all it took for all of Times Square to come back.
Wow!
It was just like, whoosh,
and by the way. That's New York City. And everybody coming in could give a shit about Tom Cruise or anything. And that's the brilliance of New York City.
Except for one guy who was the cab driver who picked me up to go back to the hotel.
I love it.
And he was like, they closed Times Square for Tom Cruise.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, they sure did.
Yeah.
He goes, they'd only do that for one other person. I go, who? He goes, Billy Joel.
There you go.